By now, I'm sure today everyone's well aware of allegedly Arsenal have offered Viktor Gyokeres a 5-year contract as they look to strengthen his signature. Important move for someone that's 26, turning 27. Obviously, in line with Saudi, you could still get a move, but this is probably the most important quote unquote step in his career to date. Exaggeration, I know, but you get the point. We keep hearing about Gyokeres, we keep seeing the rumors, yada yada yada, and I'm sure you lot are well aware. I did make a video and cover certain things in relation to Jokeres and this earlier. So check that out after this. Don't forget to smash the like button. Now his girlfriend's added a twist, or in fact, better yet, Viktor Jokeres' famous girlfriend makes transfer promise as Arsenal Chiefs fly out. Arsenal reportedly ramped up their pursuit of Viktor Jokeres, but the Sporting striker's loved ones, including his famous girlfriend, have voiced their preference for him to remain in Portugal. Happy wife, happy life, we know. And it reminds me of Emmanuel Petit and how his wife affected some of his decisions. Again, it is what it is, and in line with footballers and managers and all of these kind of things, the highs, the lows, the traveling, the good, the bad, rightly or wrongly, criticism, constructive criticism, cool. We all know the extreme stuff on social media. The family members of these players in any walk of life, they're on the journey as well. Now, I know people don't want to hear it. I think Arsenal could sell Yoker as a great project. First things first, you will play games. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you will play games. One love to Marino, to Kai Havertz, to Gabriel Jesus, to anyone who could play up front. You could take their place for one. Big money, London aspect, quote unquote, exciting project. Yeah, my club ain't won again, 3P of second, yada, yada, yada. Arsenal social media fans are different. But if we're talking real football, we're a team on the cusp. Apologies. Not saying we're going to do it, but we're on the cusp. So there's plenty of things. But then there is the family aspect. Again, especially, I don't know Jokeres, how long he's been with his girlfriend, if he's got kids and all of that. But it's easier for a footballer, whether they're, late teens to early 20s to even all the way to 30, to get up and uproot wherever when you haven't got kids or loved ones, etc. It's much different when your kids are in school and your wife, obviously, going to leave her friends and whatever she's doing. I'd imagine, what I would say to Yoker is you got one life to live. You need to live it for yourself, regardless of what your family or wife may feel. At the end of the day, you want to live your careers with no regrets, whether that's staying in Portugal with Sporting, going to Arsenal, or the numerous teams that are being linked with him. Juventus have been thrown into the mix for not only Jokeres, but Sesko, which we'll get onto. Apparently, his actress girlfriend has promised to convince the striker to stay at Sporting this summer. That is despite reports elsewhere stating that Arsenal Chiefs flew out to Lisbon over the weekend in an attempt to push ahead with the signing of the 26-year-old. Obviously, he won and scored a penalty. We all know that Sporting have done the domestic double in Portugal, and he was quite coy on his future. But nonetheless, reports are speaking and whatnot, some more credible than others, and saying that this will be, including Romano, that this is going to be his last year. Allegedly, we had reps to talk with his agent over a deal. Ironically, big up the Arsenal women. They won the Champions League, which was hosted in Portugal, and Josh Kroenke was out there. I don't know where Berta was, but maybe he was in the Portuguese streets trying to make it happen. Apparently, people, we've presented the champions with a bid of 70 million euros, which equates to, in brackets, 58.66 million, while offering the forward a 5-year contract worth 7 million euros, which equates to 5.87 million pounds per year, and a signing bonus of 12 million euros, which equates to, in pounds, 10.6. Arsenal have been strongly linked with Jokeres, as we know. Negotiations are set to ramp up. Apparently, it remains unclear whether Jokeres himself is open to a move to North London. We hear, and I've seen Ornstein also tweet, that Arsenal, or specifically Berta, are very keen and admire Jokeres. The forward, who has netted an astonishing 97 goals in 102 games over 2 seasons for Sporting. Listen, I can't say anything about Portuguese football or Sporting Lisbon, but surely he's a legend in Sporting Lisbon now. Like, probably one of the, they'd have to answer, but surely one of the best signings that they could have got from a man that's gone from the Championship to doing what he's doing is crazy. Apparently, he played coy on Arsenal links ahead of a move on Sunday, but didn't actually say anything. So really, we've been done here. The missus ain't said much, has it really? I prefer Lisbon because I live here now. Yes, I'm living here. Obviously, playing a bit coy. It appears his loved ones are pushing for him to stay. Apparently, his uncle Chris has recently voiced his preference and claimed the family had decided in a meeting that he would not leave this summer. Fair play. If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Apparently, his uncle said, "I'm super happy. This is amazing. We were here last year. It's the same spirit, the same people, the same atmosphere. Absolutely fantastic beyond words. Yes, very much. Yesterday at dinner, we decided he has to stay." When asked whether Gyökeres will stay at the club, he said, yes, I think so. Then he said I think this is Gyökeres. They, in brackets, his family really like Portugal. I think they want to be here and enjoy the city, the good weather, and all the atmosphere. What about the food? I'm quite hungry, actually. But it's football. That's another thing. We'll see what happens. Yes, I would like to win a third title with Sporting, but we'll see. I don't know what will happen in the summer. So let's just see what happens. So, yeah, people. He also said my focus was on the game. If the links were true, then we'll see this summer. But I can't lie, man. We all want Gyökeres. I mean, 17 assists, 63 goals. Is crazy, man. A GA of 80 essentially. Mazzolini, Houdini, people. Sky Sports has said he will leave, people. He'll be allowed to leave for less than his 84 million release clause, as we know already. And everyone's latching onto it and saying, we've bidded. Personal terms clearly can't be an issue, etc. Apparently, the Gunners met with Hassan Setinkaya, forgive me for mispronunciation, which is his agent in Lisbon over the weekend, and they reportedly lodged an offer of 70 million euros. How often does the first offer get accepted? Apparently, Aston Villa plan to accept Ollie Watkins' offer in new Arsenal twist, people. Arsenal are prepared to go in for Ollie Watkins. Villa are preparing for life without him. You'd imagine this was probably going to be Watkins last year. Anyways, this article has said Aston Villa will look to sell Watkins this summer. They know he's a player who has attracted a lot of interest and clubs will be willing to pay. Looking at their financial situation, they feel they're going to have to sell players to help balance the books and avoid any sort of punishment. Arsenal tried to sign Watkins in January, and that interest hasn't gone away. Villa paid around 30 million for him. Brentford do know how to get strikers, Visa and Buemo, Tony, Ollie Watkins. It feels like a million years since he was a Brentford player. And he's been worth more than that to them with what he's achieved since he's come in. Now they believe they can make a profit on him if clubs come in with offers. It's not their fault, but it's the situation they're in, and he's seen as a sellable asset. We all know Emi Martinez could potentially be leaving Aston Villa, people. Atletico Madrid, Chelsea, and also Arsenal have been linked with him. Apparently, his camp are pushing to leave Aston Villa in favour of a big money move elsewhere. Would you take a return of Emi Martinez? Do you think he's better than David Raya? Where do you lot stand better yet on the Ollie Watkins stuff, people? Sesko spoke in Brazil, where his team is playing in a kind of end of season, pre-season friendly kind of thing. I know I've been very passionate about the condensed and congested fixture list for players at club and country. The club has given me a lot, and it continues to give me a lot every day. It's a great club to develop at. To play for a club that suits me, that brings out the best in me, that's the most important thing. I'm currently a player for Leipzig, so I'm taking it day by day. If a transfer happens, and if it doesn't happen, then it doesn't. Fair play. He's got a release clause of 60 million. So based on what we've seen, there isn't too much between the fees of Gyökeres and Sesko. The breakdown of the money and how we're going to pay, and clubs' willingness to, in Leipzig and Sporting's case, willingness to accept whatever we put to them, I don't know. We're considered the front runners once again for Gyökeres. Whether that equates to something, I don't know. Arsenal have been linked with a new attacker, though. Forgive me for mispronunciation, and he could be seen as a more affordable target. Nick Woltemade, who has 12 goals in 28 Bundesliga appearances for Stuttgart this season, of which just 17 were starts. He's 23, stands at 6'6", so that's probably alerted Mikel Arteta to him, and allegedly has a combination of height, technique, and finishing ability. It's claimed Arsenal and Napoli have already made contact with Stuttgart to inquire about his availability, while West Ham United and Atletico Madrid are said to be looking. And apparently it will cost 45 to 50 million euros. And apparently he's grown in prominence. He still is only 23, but where you look at the fees, and you see what's being linked with Sesko and Gyökeres. If we've really done our due diligence on Sesko and really that keen, specifically Berto and Gyökeres, surely that's the angle. Now, if Sesko says, I want to go elsewhere, Gyökeres doesn't sign for Arsenal, we have to pivot, whether it's Isaac, I know we're not getting him, Ollie Watkins, Woltemade, or any of the million players that we're linked with consistently, people. We've gone over that already. The possibilities this summer are open for Rodrigo. He needs to reflect on his future and what he wants. His upcoming meeting with Xabi Alonso should weigh in on his situation and decision. Several English clubs are interested in getting him. There you have that. The reality for Rodrigo is that he currently has no offers on the table, and his contract with Real Madrid runs until 2028. Arsenal's interest is real, as is that of other Premier League teams, but any move is a way off. So yeah, he doesn't have any offers at this moment in time. Apparently, Xabi Alonso has issued a hands-off warning. I mean, managers are going to do that, but if I was him, I'd want to keep Rodrigo with Mbappe and Vinicius and all the other players they got. He's a Madrid player, and I'll have a conversation with everyone because we need to do so. We'll get to know each other. He's a spectacular player. We need him. And then he said, well, this was Mikel Arteta's comment. So you can draw whatever you want to draw in terms of what Jabi Alonso said. Do you lot actually think, maybe not necessarily to Arsenal, but do you lot actually believe he will leave Real Madrid? This says they want to extend his contract until 2030. So what's that? And essentially a new 5-year deal. Apparently, Rodrigo will not commit his future until he has clarity on his role. Paris Saint-Germain apparently an interested party. So we're going to have to see what's going on there. We have been linked with Rafa Leao in the last 72 hours, and apparently Berta's had talks with him. Berta's a busy man. He's talking to everyone. Chelsea, Bayern Munich, Manchester United apparently are all interested in him. We've gone over the Emi Martinez thing, but also apparently David Raya is of interest to Real Madrid. I mean, their president has said they need more Spanish players. Manchester City have thrown themselves in the hat or in the ring, people, or their hat in the ring to sign Ryan Cherky. He's available for 20 to 25 million. You lot know I'm a big fan of his. This is something Arsenal should be getting involved in. Maybe I'm wrong, let me know. Garcia will reportedly meet with his agents to discuss his options this week, with the in-demand goalkeeper all but confirming his Espanyol exit. We all know we tried and failed to sign him last summer. There's a bunch of clubs interested in the 6'3" goalkeeper, including Napoli, Newcastle United, Aston Villa, Barcelona, Leverkusen, Arsenal. Real Madrid are linked every now and again, as are Real Madrid people. You imagine he's going to leave. He said, I'm aware of my situation and that of Espanyol. Whatever happens, I'll leave with my head held high. Happy to have contributed keeping us in the elite. Fair enough, man. And again, Espanyol sporting director said it was with La Liga just underway and 3 days away from the deadline. The look on his face during that conversation almost made me feel sorry for him. I saw him as if he were my son. He was told the time will come, and it will. So that's probably him cutting this year, if I'm honest with you. We've been linked with Jacob Ramsey of Aston Villa. To be fair, we've been linked with a bunch of Aston Villa players. Morgan Rogers, Ramsey, Emi Martinez, Luca Dean apparently was pictured last week at the Emirates. Don't know what for. And I'm probably missing out someone. Yeah, we're always linked with Ramsey. Apparently he could. Sorry. It doesn't say the fee. I would love us to sign Morgan Rogers. And Aston Villa did get done dirty for what it's worth with the refereeing decisions. Even though on the balance of things, they probably needed, they probably deserved to lose. I think Man United were better than them. What's this? At the end, in football, news is coming out all the time. Things are coming out. Until things become a reality, it's not always the truth. But anyways, as I'm telling you, I'm very calm. Whatever needs to be decided, I'll definitely think about it a lot with my people and choose whatever will be best for me. I'm sure it will be like that. That's in relation to Garcia, who I don't know if I've mentioned it enough times, but Barcelona have been interested. So we're linked with everyone. Let's get some signings through the door and get them in early.